So we are literally by the koi pond, and as you can see, I've finally got the part of a cover off. I've advised before, if you do have a pond balls or cover, have a section that you can just take off and have a look. So have a look at your koi, and that's what I've done today, because the sun is lovely and beaming today, but it is cold. It's been windy. We've had wind this week. It's not been too bad here in Nottingham, but I know some people in the country have been quite badly battered by the wind, especially in Ireland. But anyway, here we are. So I've come out. I'm just going to do a recording of my day today. Well, I say day, it's only going to be about an hour's worth of what I'm doing, but it'll be reduced down for you guys. But it's always a good opportunity to have a look at the koi whenever you can. They're looking okay, the ones in the outdoor neated pond. This is at just under 6 degrees at the moment with the pond balls on. The fish are swimming around lovely in there. I've done a head count, they're all okay. There's nothing on their bodies, or they look quite calm. There's a bit of carp pox on that one, I can see, some blobs. But in general, they're generally looking okay. It's very difficult to keep koi spotless, honestly. When you get them, and you get iron koi and stuff, the little nicks and stuff like that, can be quite discouraging. But anyway, there's the Hiatsuri. So yes, doing well. This section is literally is filled back up again. I've sealed that with some silicone, nice and gone off now and rubberized. Looks great. So technically I can put the water on to this side now and get this plant filter running again, but I'm not going to. Why? Because what I like to do is get the pond hoover out in spring. You see in there? If you can see in there, you get muck at the bottom, sediment. And we go, look, not massive amounts, but with the course of a season, there are plants in there. Look, there's lilies. There's a lily. There's a lily. There's a lily. There's all the roots from these plants in this basket. They're not showing signs of growth yet, but they will soon. And then I just hoover this out, and then I start using it again. But it gets hoover out first. So that's that. But yeah, look at the weather. The sun is out. It does make a difference, don't it? Yes, it does. It does make a difference. It certainly does make a difference. So, doing my usual walk down the garden. I bet the bees aren't out because it is pretty cold. I've got to be. That's why I've got my hoodie on again. The same old blue hoodie I chuck on. So I thought, I always expect one of my panels to come up. Yeah, they have as one. Look, there's a bit of damage on one of my greenhouses. Look, come down, find a panel there. It's just there. Look, that one's just popped out because one of my bee boxers has put weight on this side. So I'll just pop that back in. Yeah, thankfully these are well secure on here. So what I want to do today is, I've obviously got to pop that panel back on there. I'm going to leave this open, me net here on my door. Literally kick this open and get some air into the greenhouse. Look at these lemons. Look at them. Lemons take ages to mature. Honestly, these have been on since summer last year, and yeah, so come in, things are looking good. So what I'm going to do the next hour, alright, get my old mop on get the old condensation off. I've been a bit lazy, I have got to admit. Yeah, I've got to admit there's quite a bit of a catch up actually in this one. So grab a coffee and we'll go over a few things, and hopefully some of you will be interested with a few of the things I'm going to show you. But in general, koi looking great. They've not been fed now for they've not been fed in January at all. Neither of these haven't been fed in January. There's 3 in there. So let's have a quick look at these, and you can see the water is lovely and clear. Lovely and clear. Some of the fish are looking really good. So let's pop you out and give you a longer view. You see the DK line shear at Suri? And you can see that. Can you see the Sumi is coming up? And actually, I know it's not a mega pattern, but I quite like that. That's quite pleasing. I like it. At the minute, it looked like it's going to be really, really heavy, like all blue underneath. But it looks like that's staying down, look. And it's getting two spots on either side. It's almost like down the flanks, near that dorsal on the top, on its back. And then I'm hoping that wood, and then there's a lovely spot on the top of the shoulder, look. But look at the head, there's almost like a black memoir appearing, hopefully. Look at it, can you see it underneath? If that comes up with a V-shaped memoir and tucks into those sides, I think I've got quite a half decent koi there. I'm happy with that pattern. Everything else is looking great. Look at that golden corn there. I love that one. It's like really yellowy. We've got this golden corn here, which I really liked. It's got more of a Karashi-esque style to me. That's what attracted me to that. They're wanting some food, look, but they're not getting any. They're looking really in good condition. There's the Sankey, the Sakai Fish Farm Sankey, look, and that is now getting on that top shoulder. It's getting some Sumi, which is coming into the Sumi on the head as well. And everything else is looking good. The koi that was on death's door, the shower, that is looking absolutely lovely at the moment. The Kajaku's looking good. Look at the reticulation on the actual scales is looking good. So yeah, everything's looking good. It's still got Saki white in there. So as soon as I start opening up and feeding again, come probably March is probably going to be similar to January. So I will, once that feed is opened up, I've got 5 kilos of Saki white to give them some conditioning on that white, and then that will then turn into, hopefully, if I can get this heat ramped up to 24 degrees for May, so from May I'll be on growth with a bit of luck, but that's all weather dependent, isn't it? Temperature depending. So let's move on to something else. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to be, see the bicarb, the bucket of bicarb, that's doing well. I've literally just got a tap on it and it's literally just drip feeding, look. Can you see the drip on the end of there? It's just got a drip. See it? Then that will just drip ever so often. I've got a little air stone in there that bubbles it. And what I've done, I had 400 grams left, about 450 grams left of bicarb of soda. That's gone in there, mixed up. And I've been using that for over a week now at least. And what I can say is the pH was starting to go up anyway, about 8, it's now 8.29, so let's say 8.3, and the ppm on here is saying it's 860 ppm. It was just under 900 on my last video because someone commented on it saying, is that right? Yes, it is right. I'm saying that. Let me compare that. Let me compare that to this ppm pen. So this is actually saying the ppm is about 538. 538, look. 538, and the Cactually is saying it's 860. So I need to probably calibrate that, so I will do, because I hope and I think that this will be probably more accurate at the moment. You can't say use these as gospel and you can't expect to get the same reading every time. I've used these for many years for growing orchids, and measuring what fertilizer and nutrients or what a total dissolved solid are actually in feed. And the reason I used to use that is because I used to start with pure water, RO, 0, so you got no nutrients in that or minerals in that water at all. Put the plant food in, you know how much you put in, so you know exactly what's in that water now, if that makes sense. So I used to use a specific orchid food called Ray Kearns Rain Mix. You put it in, you put a certain amount in, you can get a similar reading every time you feed. And that's similar with my mind's going with RO in this. So this will gradually come down and get as pure as I possibly can, but it'll get to a point where it'll start depleting all the minerals, including carbonate hardness. So there's one job I've got to do, which I won't do on video. Calibrate the Cactoile and see what's see if that will change if I calibrate it. But if I took between the two, 540 whatever it was to 800, let's say I'm about 600. The Pond Detox, I'm not using that anymore, just a minimal. So the only time I'll use that now, I've not done a water change on this pond for 2 weeks. I used RO, and what I did, and I'm going to do it on this, I literally drained down. It's already now, it's been 2 weeks. 2 weeks, there's 2 weeks worth. So as you can see, not loads of muck because they're not getting fed. So you wouldn't expect a lot of muck, would you? Just residual. It's probably like algae they're picking up off the side and off the bottom of the ponds and stuff, and the poop from that. So this is going to get drained down. This, or if you look at the K1, look, K1 Plus, it's starting to roll now. It's just starting to roll. Starting to roll, but I'm getting pockets here, look. I'm getting it on the edges still. So, but you can see you've got the new and the old rolling now in the middle. So it's taking some time, and I'm assuming that's because it's not, there's no food going in, so there's minimal bacteria. You're not going to get much bacterial growth, biofilm on the media at this time of year, are you? So it's going to take longer to sink. So what I have done, I've started prepping all that there. I've put a trug, so there's quite a lot. That's what's left of the K Plus 1 in the bag. So I reckon there's about 25 litres in there. No, maybe less, 20 litres maybe. I put some more in there a while ago, and then I put some originally, and then I've got that left. So I'm going to get my sieve, start sieving that out, and then I'm going to leave it. I'm not going to wash it, I'm going to leave it on the media, take it all out, put it in a bag or something, drain all the old PP off, because it's starting to oxidise now. It's been in a week, 1 week it's been in there, just sat like that. So hopefully that's got hold of the media somewhat, as you can see, and hopefully that will just bump start it and give it a boost at this time of year. So hopefully it starts tumbling quicker, so come March, April, May, that can really start populating some biofilm and beneficial bacteria. So give me an absolute cracking growing season with the koi, so I could put as much food as I want to in, to costs, as opposed to being dictated by nitrite and ammonia, because it can sometimes really get to you. So this year what I'm going to do, I'm not going to so much try and get bogged down with the ammonia and nitrite so it stops starting me. I'm going to keep going and watch the fish. The fish starts flat, you know, flashing and looking a bit unhappy, then there's chances are it's ammonia and nitrite, so I've got to be careful. So I'm going to build up slow with a Saki White. I've got about a kilo of balance left, and that will go in towards the end of my last lot, so I'll probably mix 50-50 of the rest of the balance and then the rest of the white, so they'll get 4 kilos, one of them at Saki balance, Saki White, and then it'll go into growth, and just tailor it all up, and then start building put the feeder back on. Start at 1 feed a day, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, probably to 10 feeds a day, between 8 in the morning till 10 at night, something like that, every 2 hours, and then see how they go. Last year, the fish started around about July, they started stopping. They were still feeding, but very slow, very laboured. They didn't look that happy. They weren't like gobbling up the food and really going at it. So I think what I did, I totally maxed out for this pond. So even though the nitrite weren't really high and the ammonia weren't really high, there were sniffs of it there, I think at 0.25 or something like that. I just didn't get the feeding right. Now what I did do, I fed all the way up to 2 o'clock in the morning and then started again. I think the last feed was at 2 and then it started again at sort of 6 and then I had like a 4-hour break. So I'm going to stop that and give them a longer break. So I'm going to stop feeding at 10 at night and they're going to get a break all the way through the night until we kick off again at 8 in the morning or something like that again, and then do them 2 hours and then maybe get the odd food and feed and go from there. That Sakai Sankey is looking mint, look at that, love it. So anyway, that's going to get dropped, brushes cleaned out, that's going to get dropped and bagged up first because then I can put the brushes in there and wash them. What I've been doing as well is, and this is going to be difficult, is I've been giving this a tumble every day, look, like that. Mr. Tumble, he's starting to go, he really is starting to go now. And I'm also thinking, I think what I will do is from Aqua Aerations, I think it is, I think I will either get them to make me one. I'm going to measure the bottom of this and try and get a rectangle one, or get one a circle that will fit, and I might want to manipulate that round one that they might have already and put that in here, because I don't think it's distributing right at the minute for some reason. I don't know whether that's because it's not sinking yet. So before I rush off and do that and waste money, I want to start making sure that the media's sunk first, because no amount of air going in there. I could put a 150 litre pump on this an hour and it's not sinking, so it's not going to tumble if it's not sinking, is it? Not sinking, but less buoyant. It doesn't sink totally, the plastic media doesn't. It just becomes less buoyant, so it's sort of a third in the water, so it's always submerged. Whereas at the minute it's not submerged, look, and that's not down to the aeration going in. So, but the media is in contact with the water, so it's going to be best beneficial. But like we say, we can see that media starting to tumble, which is good. So that's that. I tend not to try and do too much in one day. That's going to get squeegeed with my mop there, and then I'm going for a walk with my daughter to get some steps in for half an hour in an hour's time. So on that note, I'm going to get waffling. So oh yes, bicarb. I digressed and got somewhere else. Right, so with the bicarb, with the way I've got it dripping, I've tested KH every day, and I was just teetering around 3. Now I've got it teetering around 4 without adding anything into the pond extra. So with my water changes, which was 2 weeks ago, so the water change 2 weeks ago, and that was teetering around about 3, and I'm now on 4. So what does that mean, Keith? Well, what it means is I can do that once a week with my water changes if I want, or whenever I could come in and put the bicarb in every day. But with that dripping in, I can hopefully keep it topped up so it's constantly dripping in, not flooding in, not in one go, just drip. A minute later, drip, very slow going in 24/7. So it's maintaining it. And I think, you know, luckily, by luck, by experience, by me dabbling and stuff with things before, it's managed to fall where I'm keeping 4 points. 4 points. So I get 1 drop, turns blue, then it's about 4 after that that turns it yellow. So I'm on about 4. Now obviously there's no food going in, so it's bound to maintain now. So that dripping might have to keep going up, because that might only sustain, if you like, 1 point constantly, not 2, 3 or 4. So as long as I'm somewhere between 3, 4, 5, I'd like to be 4, 5, because what I noticed last year, and I'll drop this in there, when I was teetering around 1 all the time, I constantly had issues with nitrite, quite a lot, low levels of it, which was really annoying. Now what I did, when I started having issues with these, I dropped the feed back a bit, so there's less food going in, yes. So there's a couple dropped off. And then I started over a week, got the bicarb up to 5, and guess what? The ammonia and nitrite reduced as a reaction of it. Definitely as a reaction of what I did. The food was still going in, not as much granted, but simply by raising my KH to 4, 5, that nitrite dropped straight off. And then after about 3 weeks of that, the fish reacted and they got more active again and looked a bit more keen. So that's what I hope to maintain this year. So around about 4, 5. Okay, so that's that. So by the end of this video, that'll be cleaned, that'll be emptied, that'll all be in there, and then I'll leave that alone then. And then what I might do, I'll see what the PP is like. So if it's still red, I might just put the rest of that in there. In fact, what I'll do is I might take that out of there, put that in a bucket, sieve that out of there, put that into the bag, leave that to dry off for a bit today while I'm messing about, then put the rest of the media in that PP, potassium permanganate, and then once I've done, lob all that, the PP treated one, into there. So there we go. So to end this video, I'm going to put this, in fact, plants are looking good. So I'm going to come back once all that lot is done on this lovely, glorious, sunny day, but cold. You've got to make the most of these days. It makes you feel better in here. I'm going to go for a walk and then watch a football match, Forest. So I'll be back. But if you haven't hit the like button already, please hit the like button. Follow my journey with these mutts. All I do is document what I'm doing, see what these are doing, document, like I say, my hobby. If you like, please hit the like button, please subscribe, and please hit the share, the notification bell, and I'll see you on the conclusion.
It's time to sum up this week's video, so I'm done. Ooh, hamstring, feel that.
The condensation on the ceiling, on the roof, is done. I've really gone to town, took me time, must have took me about 15-20 minutes longer. Filter EasyPod is clean. What I can say is, look, the only muck that was in there were no poop or anything like that, because you'd expect that because they've not been fed. But if you look, now I've let it settle, you'll see lots of algae. So what they're doing is, they're obviously, because they've got no food, koi aren't daft, if they're hungry they're going to start eating algae, and I think that's why the condition starts looking better as well, and they might start looking like you're getting a bit more colour and stuff, and a bit more vibrant, because your water's going to be as clear as possible, because you've not got much food to go in, or no food's going in my case, so everything just becomes purer, because nothing's going into the water to contaminate it. But if you think about it, everything we put in, food, no matter what, technically we're contaminating the water. So summing up, that's done, that's done. Oh, I've not done, I want to show you something. Ooh, forgive me a minute. Right, so as you can see, there's the PP, so that's what's left. So what I've done, the mistake I made last time is I put all the K1 in the top, and then I tried to, and I had that much in it, I couldn't get it mixed well. So this time I put it in slower into the PP, and I basically used my sieve and then give it like a tumbling like that to really get it going and really get that PP inside all the media. Because before I had to try and sink it, it was a bit of a nightmare to get doing, and I was like stirring it and it just weren't happening. So a tip, if you do soak your media in PP, then don't put a few litres in at a time, stir it, really stir it in, you know, give it a right good tumble, and it'll start to look like that, and it should hopefully get to work quicker. So I've got to dump that outside, but as you can see, all the algae, this is nice and clean, brushes, and if we have a look, all that media I've now put in, it is all in there. So you can see the ones that's had the PP in it. So let's see, we'll do an experiment. That's been soaking for a week at least, a good week. And then that one is literally just started being, that's been in soak for about an hour. And it's Saturday the 25th of January. So let's see how long that starts to tumble, because the pure stuff that didn't get treated, can you see it, the really white stuff, that has just started to tumble, and it's been, how long's it been in there, about 3 weeks. So will that stuff, the browner stuff that's had the PP treatment on it, will that start tumbling quicker than the white stuff? Let's see. 3 weeks from now we'll have a look. So we're looking first week into Feb, got a week of January left next week, then we're into first week of Feb, so we're looking like the second week of February, second, third week of Feb. Let's have a look, see what that's doing. What I've got to do is start balancing up my air, because everything's been turned off. I'm going to put the air back on to the pond. There it goes. That's the air ball going. And then that's the air still going to the bio. So let's put that to bed, excuse that. So just tested the KH in this pond, KH of 5. This one is a little bit less. This was about 4.5, because it was nearly turning at 4, that this one was a little bit more solid. So what's that telling me? Well, there's no bicarb going in that, and there has been bicarb going in that. That one is a little bit more solid 5 compared to this one. So what it's telling me is, obviously this time of year there's not a lot of carbonate hardness being consumed, because the bacteria, beneficial bacteria, is really low. So it doesn't need a lot of bicarb at this time of year, because I'm only at 8 degrees and they're not being fed much. Look at them in that there now, where that air's been turned on, look near the air ball. Love disturbance. So let's see what the bicarb does when the season does start going. But I'll just cross-reference it with that one, and it's very similar. That's a slight bit lower. So that is definitely having a bit of a difference, but there's not much going in, as you can see, look. It really is a slight drip. What I didn't want to do is open the tap quite a lot, and then it just, all of it goes in and it alters it really quick. They've got a bit fruity now, look at them moving about, look. So, that's it. That's another week done. Wow. Middle of January already. January the 25th already. Frightening. Anyway, that's me done, because it's 2:30. Wow, I've been in here a lot longer than I thought. 2 hours. It's been quite therapeutic. Hope you enjoyed that one. Please hit the like. That's a summing up of the whole shebang. See you on the next one.